Let me ask you a brutally honest question. When was the last time you opened your banking app on your phone, looked at the balance, and actually felt safe? Not rich, not like a millionaire, just safe. If you were like the vast majority of people listening to this right now, opening that app comes with a tiny spike of anxiety. A little knot in your stomach. You work 40, maybe 50, sometimes 60 hours a week. You do everything society told you to do. You went to school. You got the job. You show up on time. But at the end of the month, when you look at what is left over, the math simply does not make sense. You catch yourself staring at the ceiling at night thinking, I work way too hard to be this broke. If that exact thought has ever crossed your mind, I need you to eliminate all distractions and listen to me very carefully today. Because what I am about to share with you isn't just another generic session of financial advice where someone tells you to stop buying coffee. No, this is a complete, systematic unlearning of everything you thought you knew about money. We are going to make it absolutely mathematically impossible for you to stay poor. Welcome to Grow with Tony. I am your host, Tony, and today we are executing a complete financial reset. Now, really quickly, before we tear down your old financial habits and build a new foundation, I need to put this out there. I am sharing a blueprint based on human psychology, math, and proven wealth-building strategies. But I am a guy on the internet, not your personal financial advisor or CPA. This episode is strictly for educational purposes. Take these strategies, apply them to your life, but always take responsibility for your own financial decisions. All right, let's get into it. I know making the claim that it's impossible to stay poor sounds like a massive clickbaity promise, but I want you to realize something right now. Staying broke is not a life sentence. It is not your destiny. It is a system. It is a set of habits and psychological traps that you were caught in. And the crazy thing is, you didn't even choose this system. It was handed to you. But starting today, we are replacing that broken system with a relentless 13-week blueprint. Let us start with week 1. We have to address the invisible script running in your head. Neuroscientists and psychologists tell us something terrifying. Our fundamental beliefs about money are usually locked into our brains by the time we are 7 years old. 7! Think about that. That means your financial stress today, the way you panic about rent, the way you impulsively spend on payday, all of that might be coming from how you watched your parents argue about the electric bill 20 years ago. You absorbed their fear, their scarcity mindset, and their beliefs about rich people. So, week 1 is about rewriting that corrupted code. Every single morning, before you touch your phone, before you check your emails, I want you to sit in silence for 5 minutes and visualize the exact financial reality you want. I am not talking about vague wishing. I mean visualizing. Feel what your shoulders feel like when you have zero credit card debt. Imagine the physical sensation of seeing $50,000 in your savings. And say it out loud. I make decisions that build wealth. Your brain needs to hear your own voice claiming that identity. And while you are reprogramming your brain, you need to clean up your environment. Week 1 requires a massive social media purge. I want you to ruthlessly unfollow every single influencer, brand, or even friend who makes you feel like you are falling behind. If their posts trigger that anxious feeling that makes you want to buy things you don't need just to keep up, they have to go. You cannot build a solid financial house for yourself if you spend 3 hours a day staring with envy at someone else's mansion. Protect your mental space. Once your mind is clear and your environment is defensive, we move into week 2. This is where most people quit. I call it the painful mirror. In week 2, you are going to track every single cent that leaves your hands. And I mean, every cent. The pack of gum, the extra streaming service, the impulsive Amazon purchase at 2 in the morning. Why? Because you cannot fix a leak in a boat if you refuse to look at where the water is rushing in. Most of us are absolutely terrified to look at our actual spending habits. We live in denial. We'd rather just tap our cards and hope it doesn't decline. But seeing the real numbers forces accountability. Let it hurt. Log everything. And it's not just money. In week 2, you track your time. Time is the raw material of wealth. If you discover that you are spending 3 hours a day scrolling through short videos, that is over 20 hours a week. 20 hours! That is a part-time job you are working for free just to make social media algorithms and advertisers richer while you stay poor. Reclaiming those 20 hours is the first physical step to escaping the rat race. Moving into week 3, we stop playing defense and we build your shield, a $1,000 emergency fund. Listen to me. Life is undefeated. Something will go wrong. The car engine will make that funny noise. Your laptop will suddenly refuse to turn on. Your kid will need to go to the dentist. If you do not have a cash buffer, every single minor inconvenience in life becomes a full-blown financial crisis that forces you to swipe a high-interest credit card. You need $1,000, and you need it fast. How? You get ruthless. Look around the room you are sitting in right now. You have clothes you haven't worn in 2 years. You have electronics gathering dust. You have furniture you don't even like. Sell it. Put it on a marketplace today. Cancel your Netflix, skip the restaurants, eat pasta and beans for 30 days if you have to. Do whatever it takes to build that $1,000 shield. Because when you hit that number, a profound psychological shift happens. Your brain finally switches out of panic and survival mode, and it enters growth mode. You can finally breathe. Now that you can breathe, Week 4 introduces the absolute golden rule of wealth building. Pay yourself first. Most people pay everyone else first. They pay the landlord, the grocery store, the phone company, the government. And then, at the end of the month, they look at the $32 left over and say, well, I guess I'll save this. That is a guaranteed recipe for staying broke. You need to flip the script. The very second your paycheck hits your account, an automated transfer should move a specific percentage, whether that is 5, 10, or 20%, straight into a savings or investment account that you cannot easily access. Do not rely on your own willpower. Willpower is exhausted after an 8-hour shift. Automate the wealth building, make the money disappear before your brain even registers that you got paid, and force yourself to live on whatever is left. By week 5, your foundation is set. Now, it is time to build the engine. We call this skill stacking. Here is the harsh truth. If you don't have a lot of money to invest right now, your brain is your only capital. You have to make it more valuable. You need to pick one high-income skill. It could be copywriting, digital marketing, video editing, coding, or data analysis. Pick one and dedicate that time you took back in week 2. Just 1 hour a day for 90 straight days to learn it. You don't need to go back to a university and take on $80,000 in student loans. Everything you need is available for free or very cheap online. And here is the secret sauce. Do not wait until you feel like an expert to start charging money. Imposter syndrome will try to stop you. Ignore it. Once you are basically competent, find a client. Do the work cheaply or even for free, at first just to build a portfolio and get a testimonial. Then, you leverage that proof to get a paying client. Then you raise your rates. You are essentially minting your own money through your newly acquired value. Week 6 is a declaration of war. It is time to demolish your debt. Debt is an anchor holding you underwater. We are going to use the avalanche method. I want you to write down every single thing you owe on a piece of paper. Car loans, student loans, credit cards. Look right at the interest rates. You are going to pay the bare minimum on every single account to keep them in good standing. But you take every single spare dollar you have, every dollar from selling your old stuff, every dollar saved from cutting expenses, and you hurl it like a weapon at the debt with the highest interest rate. Why the highest rate? Because an 18 or 24% interest rate on a credit card is a financial parasite. It is mathematically destroying you. Crush it first, and when that account hits 0, I want you to actually celebrate. Let yourself feel the victory. Your brain runs on dopamine, and it needs those small wins to maintain the aggressive momentum required to become debt-free. Which brings us perfectly into week 7, building your second engine. Your side income skill you started learning in week 5, and you turn it into a dedicated cash flow stream. But hear me out, because this is where people mess up. The money you make from your side hustle is not fun money. It is not let's go out for fancy sushi money. It is not vacation money. It is rocket fuel. Every single extra dollar you earn from this secondary income goes directly toward annihilating your debt or boosting your investments. Think about it. You are essentially giving yourself a massive promotion and a pay raise, and you didn't even have to walk into your boss's office and beg for it. You created the money out of thin air through your own effort. And once you have that extra money, week 8 is where it gets put to work. It is time for boring, beautiful investing. There is a huge misconception that investing is a playground only for the rich. That is backward. Investing is the process of becoming rich, and you do not need to be a Wall Street genius. In fact, trying to be a genius usually loses you money. Don't try to pick the next hot cryptocurrency. Don't try to guess which tech stock is going to double next week. That is gambling, not investing. Keep it incredibly boring. Open a brokerage account or use your employer's retirement plan and buy broad index funds that track the entire market, like the S&P 500. And do it consistently. every single month, no matter what the news is saying. If you understand the math of compound interest, you know that time is far more powerful than the amount of money you start with. $200 a month invested in your 20s is worth infinitely more than $1,000 a month invested in your 40s. Start right now, today. Your money needs to clock in and go to work for you while you sleep. But making money and investing money means nothing if you can't keep it. So week 9 is all about defense. Protecting your wealth from the silent killer. Lifestyle creep. Lifestyle creep is what happens when you get a raise at work, and suddenly you feel like you deserve a nicer apartment. So your rent goes up, you feel like you deserve a newer car, so you take on a larger monthly payment. Suddenly, you are making $20,000 more a year, but you are actually poorer than you were before, because your expenses grew faster than your income. The rule is simple. When your income goes up, your lifestyle stays frozen. Act like you never got the raise, and funnel 100% of that new money into your investments. Furthermore, you must implement the 48-hour rule for emotional spending. When it's late at night, and you see an ad for a new gadget or a pair of sneakers, and you get that sudden urge to buy it, force yourself to wait 2 full days. Just put it in the cart and walk away. 99% of the time, the urge will vanish. You didn't actually want the shoes. You were just stressed, tired, and looking for a quick hit of dopamine. Don't buy dopamine. Buy assets. Week 10 requires us to do some heavy lifting. We have to attack the big 3: housing, transportation, and food. These 3 categories consume roughly 70% of the average person's income. You can skip buying lattes all you want, but if you are driving a car you can't afford, you will never build wealth. You need to get absolutely ruthless here. Look at your housing. Can you downsize? Can you get a roommate? Can you rent out a spare room on weekends? Look at your transportation. The average car payment is hovering around $700 a month right now. That is financial suicide. Sell the financed car. Buy a reliable, slightly ugly used car with cash. A car is a piece of metal meant to take you from point A to point B. It is a depreciating liability, not a reflection of your human worth. And food? Stop handing your future wealth over to delivery apps. Learn to cook. Buy in bulk. Meal prep. The thousands of dollars you save here is what will fund your freedom later. As we move into week 11, your entire paradigm is going to shift. We are moving from trading time to creating value. Poor people and middle-class people trade their time for money. They clock in for 8 hours. They get paid for 8 hours. The problem is, time is strictly limited. You only have 24 hours in a day, and you have to sleep for 8 of them. Your earning potential has a hard ceiling. Wealthy people don't trade time for money, they trade value for money. They create leverage. If you create a digital product, write an ebook, build a helpful software tool, or start a YouTube channel that educates people, you build an asset once, but that asset can be sold or monetized thousands of times, 24 hours a day, to people all over the globe, without requiring any more of your physical time. You have to start figuring out how to unlink your income from the physical hours on a clock. Week 12 is the most emotionally difficult step of the entire blueprint. It is about your inner circle. Look closely at the 5 people you spend the most time with. Are they talking about ideas, growth, investments, and building a better future? Or are they constantly gossiping, complaining about how unfair the world is, and making fun of you for trying to improve yourself? Human beings are like sponges. You will inevitably become the average of the people you surround yourself with. It is a harsh, brutal truth, but sometimes growing means you have to outgrow people. You may have to gracefully distance yourself from friends or family members who act as anchors pulling you down. You must actively seek out and put yourself in rooms with people who are already where you want to be. Find mentors, join online communities, listen to podcasts like this one. Upgrade your circle, and your net worth will follow. Finally, we arrive at week 13, the ultimate goal, Autopilot. Here is a reality check. Motivation is garbage. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings change with the weather. You might feel motivated today listening to me, but next Tuesday when it's raining and you're tired, you won't feel motivated. Systems, however, survive. In week 13, you take everything you have built over the last 3 months and you automate it. The savings transfers happen automatically. The investments are bought automatically. The debt payments are scheduled automatically. You remove human error and human emotion from the equation entirely. And the only active thing you do is set a standing appointment with yourself, maybe Sunday morning with a cup of coffee. A 30-minute CEO meeting for your life. You look at your tracking, you review your numbers, you celebrate your small wins, and you adjust the sails if you're drifting off course. That is it. Before we wrap this up, let's take a deep breath. Let's do a quick recap of the massive amount of knowledge you just absorbed today. You learned that wealth is not about an inheritance or getting lucky. It is a highly predictable mechanical process. You learned how to rewrite your childhood money scripts and purge toxic social media. You learned the painful but necessary art of tracking every dollar and every hour. You learned how to build a $1,000 shield to protect against emergencies, and why you absolutely must pay yourself first. Automatically. You discovered how to stack high-income skills, aggressively demolish your high-interest debt, and build a side engine for extra cash flow. You learned that investing should be boring and consistent, how to defend against lifestyle creep, and why you must drastically cut the costs of housing, cars, and food. Finally, you learned the importance of unlinking your time from your income, upgrading the people you hang around, and putting your entire financial empire on autopilot. Listen to me closely as we end this. The sad reality is that 95% of the people who clicked on this episode will feel slightly inspired for about 20 minutes, and then they will go right back to their old, comfortable, destructive habits. They will wake up 5 years from now in the exact same spot, still stressed, still broke. Do not be most people. You made it to the end of this episode, which tells me you have the focus to actually do this. Right now, the moment my voice stops, I want you to take one single action. Just one. Don't overthink it. Go list that old jacket for sale online. Go cancel that one streaming service you haven't watched in a month. Go log into your bank and set up an automatic $50 transfer. Do it right now, because action creates momentum. Momentum creates results. And results will completely change the trajectory of your life. Thank you so much for spending your most valuable asset, your time, with me today here on Grow with Tony. If this episode brought you value, if it shifted something in your brain today, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you smash that notification bell so you never miss a blueprint. And I want to hear from you. Drop a comment down below and tell me, what financial topic or life strategy do you want me to break down in the next episode? Let me know. Keep pushing, keep growing, and I will see you in the next one.